in the course of 38 games, you have to win some games ugly where the result is more important than the performance. You'll have fluent football. You'll have games where your back's to the wall. You'll have games that's just an ugly game where there's, not much quality on the pitch. I thought we probably could have made life a little bit easier really early on when Maddison had such a simple ball into Sonny across the face of goal. And I can't believe he didn't play it into him, because we go 1-0 up with about, 16, 17 minutes. It's a totally different game. But, we're just doing what we have to do, mate. Tonight, everyone talks about Palace, under the lights, tough place to go. Yet it seems to me that we go there and win pretty much every year other than Nuno's year. So it's definitely one of our better away games, but it's never apart from last year. We usually nick it by one goal, and that's the way it's been tonight. So we've won it with one shot on target, just one shot on target all night, and we've won the game. So that's all you have to do.
To be fair, we didn't look great as a team. No one really had a great game. But when you're talking about top teams and contenders and whatever you want to call us, they have these games where you look at it, they're not even that really good, but they win the game. And that's what we did today.
That's a great point.
Sonny, usually Son's 8 and 9 out of 10. Madison, everyone's raving about how good he is. Basuma, and then it's like, but it's only Crystal Palace. Today we beat them with no one being fantastic. Other than, I'd say, Mickey van der Ven, I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah,
I thought he was fantastic all the way through. Reading the game, the passes, breaking that play, he was a monster. And he was pushing the ball, breaking lines himself. I thought he was brilliant. But other than that, no one else really had a great game. But that's brilliant, man. To still get 2 goals away from home and win the game and pretty much be comfortable. I know 2-1 on the scoreline doesn't look as emphatic, but for me, they didn't really do much. So I thought brilliant. And yes, going back to your point, Johnson has to start against Chelsea on Monday in a week's time.
Okay, I've got to say just very quickly on Sonny, obviously 8th goal in 10 Premier League matches. What a remarkable start season he's really had for Sonny. Erling Haaland has only got more goals in Son now. And the fact that, look, again, for Son, it's 11-1-1-1 scored in the Premier League, 277 games, 111 goals, 52 assists.
I can understand that, what they're saying, in that it wasn't conclusive. It was hard to tell whether there was any contact from those video replays. However, if it hadn't hit his hand, it wouldn't have fallen in front of him as lovely as it did for him to strike. So that's the only way the ball would have changed trajectory into that position for him to lash into the net. So it was handball, in my opinion. However, from a VAR perspective, it didn't look conclusive enough. So I don't know how they could have ruled the referee to overturn that decision.
100% handball. But like I said earlier, after this whole Liverpool thing, which isn't our fault, I don't know why we're getting punished for their fiasco at Liverpool. Against Liverpool at our ground. We're never going to get these 50-50s anymore. Even if it wasn't a 50-50, the ball hit his hand, it deviated, like Baz said, spun in front of him. Brilliant finish, brilliant volley. Vicario was almost there. Obviously, the pace on the ball was too much. But it's a handball, man. How can they not give that? Handball.
Like I said, I know it's AU, so it has to hit his hand, because there's no way he's scoring it. And actually, I think he's probably trying to make a cross, because he'd never hit it on time. He never puts the ball where he wants to put it. So he's probably crossing for the back post. But actually, I'm quite pleased they gave the goal, because when you've watched it 88 times, it's not clear and obvious, is it?
Exactly.
So, under the clear and obvious thing, they've had 3 or 4 looks. They can't look in their mind and say it's definitely, it's genuinely pushed down. It might have brushed his hand or something. So if they can't find it after 88 attempts to look, just, I think we're sick of it, aren't we? With VAR in general, thinking what is clear and obvious. And I've always said it, if you need to look at it more than 4 or 5 times, it's not clear and obvious. So I'm actually kind of pleased they gave the goal, because I'm sick of wanting to see things 55 times and super zoom in and things like that. That's not clear and obvious for me.
Yeah. Mickey van der Ven. Right. I know tonight we've said ultimately there's, as Vaz mentioned, a lot of 6 out of 10 to 7 out of 10. I might say Mickey was an 8 or a 9. I thought it was great. Jace, very quickly on him. The pace we needed in the first half, of course, to get Spurs out of trouble. Also defending really well at times with some crucial headers, interceptions. Van der Ven, very quickly, Jace, how happy have you been with the way he's had an unbelievable impact on this league?
it's fitting in seamlessly, and he's so composed for a young kid as well. That's the thing. It's not just the pace; it's composure, it's quality on the ball, looks for the pass. He's the, you know, if he keeps going like that, it'll be. We've replaced. I mean, lots of people have talked about Maddison finally replacing Ericsson. We finally replaced Jan Vertonghen on the ball, left-sided, total composure, but obviously quicker and taller than Jan. But he's looking a fantastic signing, isn't he? Absolutely. I'm astonished that nobody else seemed to be in the chase, because when you look at him, you just think that's a Premier League player all over.
I mean, Pat, look, I think in the summer, fair to say, we both had our reservations about the way Spurs were conducting that early bit of business. I think the fact that it appeared Raya was the first option and they went to Vicario. But the most important thing I think we've seen throughout this week, Pat, in terms of articles we've seen from Dan Kilpatrick at the Standard, Dave Heinzer of The Guardian, is that Postecoglou approved all these signings. He had the final say on a lot of these. He had video calls with all of them beforehand. And can you see, Pat, that's actually coming across in the way these guys are totally buying into his philosophy, regardless of the performance tonight. Every player is using the one what we wanted last season: fight. Is that fair, Pat?
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, like, was it Vass or Jace? Apologies if I obviously I can't remember who said it, but that low save that Vicario made was amazing. It's like he's Mr. Fantastic. He literally just stretched and glided across the ground, and yeah, he's a brilliant keeper. I think they showed he's got the best save percentage in the Premier League. It's around 89%. Obviously, he let one in the end, so it might gone down by a little bit. But the guy's been brilliant, man. And it was 4 clean sheets, almost 5. So we'll see what the other guys do this weekend. But yeah, he's been fantastic. And even against Brentford, I know a few people said he was shaky. I thought he was all right, personally. I thought a few people jumped the gun because he wasn't David Raya, like Ricky alluded to, who most of us wanted. I'll be honest, I wanted David Raya as well. I didn't know enough about Vicario, but at the 17, 18, 19 million, I kind of turned my nose up at it thinking, oh, who the hell is this guy? And, you know, the price doesn't really strike me as a top keeper, but fair play, man. The guy's come in and he's been brilliant. And for me, other than Alisson at Liverpool, I feel he's the best keeper in the Premier League. He's been that good. And I know it's early. Sometimes you don't want to go too early, but from what I've seen, he's fantastic. Hasn't put a foot wrong. Even today on corners, look how commanding he was. Like, you just don't feel. I know they had a lot of corners, so I was a bit worried that the corner count kept creeping up, but I never felt worried or threatened that, you know, we were under siege. The guy's he's a good player, man. He's good on the ball. He's good at commanding the area. He communicates well. He can obviously save from all angles. I just think he's a top goalkeeper.
There's been a few. Sorry, Pat. There's been a few of our fans who sort of stand in the ground quite close to Vicario, and they've all commented about how vocal he is, and he's always shouting at the defence and everything else. And you mentioned some stuff earlier about the reporters, Kilpatrick and whoever, but I don't know who broke this particular story, but there was one going around about how Ange vetoed a particular transfer because he felt that the player in question only wanted to come to Spurs because he wanted to get away from his existing club, and he went for the player who was desperate to come to Spurs. And you can't help but think that might be in the goalkeeping situation.
100%. As soon as I saw that, I thought that's David Raya all over.
Yeah.